Hi, PerspectaWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, July 10th. A lot to talk about this morning, especially on the tropical front. We have a system now over the eastern Gulf of Mexico that is very likely going to evolve into Tropical Storm Barry by the end of the work week, and it could have an impact on the Texas-Louisiana border region this weekend as a hurricane, possibly Category 1 or 2. It certainly is on the table. We'll talk about some of the major factors involved, including a strong ridge of high pressure that will be moving from west to east across the central U.S. The strength of that ridge will help determine how far to the west this system can travel over the next few days, and then how quickly it'll turn or how it slows down as it turns to the north by the weekend and heads up into the Texas-Louisiana border region. With a strong ridge to the north, it very well could slow down, and that, of course, raises the chances for flooding from this particular system. We'll also take a look at what's been going on in the Pacific Ocean. El Nino is now entering, it looks like, a weakening phase, a little bit different than it appeared maybe a month or two ago. It looked like El Nino could hold on right through the year. The fact that it is weakening now could definitely have an impact on the Atlantic Basin tropical season. We're just getting underway now. A weakening El Nino can actually result in an increase in activity in the tropical Atlantic over the next few months. First of all, let's take a look at the very latest visible satellite image, and here we go. This is kind of a conglomerate of showers and thunderstorms now over the eastern Gulf of Mexico. The sea surface temperatures are warmer than normal. This was a broad area of low pressure yesterday over Georgia that dropped to the south, now to a position over those above normal sea surface temperatures. It will likely intensify over the next couple of days as it drifts slowly to the west, and again, ultimately, it could have an impact right in this region right here, the Texas-Louisiana border region, perhaps as a hurricane, maybe Category 1 or 2 over the upcoming weekend. Meanwhile, strong high-pressure ridging will be pushing from the west to the east at the end of the work week and into the weekend, and that will be a major player in the final movement of this particular tropical system. So here we go, now over the Gulf of Mexico, and watch out for intensification over the next couple of days. Well, in terms of El Nino, this is one of the most recent forecast maps from NOAA's climate model called the CFS for the El Nino region out in the central Pacific. This El Nino region called 3.4 is out in the central Pacific, and this is the forecast map for sea surface temperature anomalies going forward. And notice, here we are in July, right in this position right here with a weak El Nino, and the consensus of the forecast models here are for a weakening to a neutral position by the latter part of the summer and going into the winter season. Again, this could have a big impact on the tropical season in the Atlantic Basin. Basically, a strong El Nino in the Pacific Ocean tends to be correlated with weaker Atlantic Basin tropical seasons, as strong El Nino leads to increased wind shear in the tropical Atlantic. Well, if El Nino in fact weakens over the next few weeks, that in turn could cause an increase in activity, maybe even turn out to be an above normal season now in the Atlantic with respect to tropical activity. Take a look at the change in this forecast from just a few weeks ago. And here it is. This is the forecast from the same model as of the middle part of June, with a more consistent El Nino continuing at weak to moderate levels into the winter season. But now it's considerably weaker going forward here, and we'll see in a moment here that the sea surface temperature anomaly chart in the Pacific Ocean is really leading some credence to this potential forecast of a weakening El Nino, because there are some colder than normal water conditions now setting up off the west coast of South America. And here is the latest sea surface temperature anomaly chart over the Pacific Ocean. Notice this area of blue, the west coast of South America right here, in this very extensive area now of colder than normal water conditions off the west coast of South America. eating away at this El Nino. Again, we had a centrally based El Nino right in this region right here. Still do have some above normal sea surface temperatures down that part of the Pacific Ocean, but this has been basically eroding away at the eastern edge of this El Nino. We just saw the forecast map now. It looks like perhaps a continuation of the weakening of El Nino. That in turn can lead to enhanced tropical activity in the Atlantic Basin region here. Also notice here in the Gulf of Mexico, large area of above normal sea surface temperatures right there. That will contribute to the strengthening of what will become Tropical Storm Barry over the next couple of days, and ultimately it may reach hurricane status by the upcoming weekend. Well, let's take a look at the GFS forecast maps at 500 millibars from the 6Z run, and specifically I want to point out this ridge expected in the central part of the nation. This will be a key player in the ultimate movement of Barry. And here we go, starting off Wednesday morning, and let's keep pushing forward here. And here we go, a strong ridge of high pressure centered over the Rocky Mountains by this evening, represented on this particular map by oranges. That represents the higher heights than normal. And here is that ridge, and here, by the way, is a reflection of the tropical system over the Gulf of Mexico by this evening. Let's keep moving forward. Notice this edges eastward here. Again, this is the 6Z GFS model. Exactly how strong this ridge becomes over the next couple of days will have an impact on how far to the west this system can travel. Again, the likelihood right now is that it could have an impact Texas, Louisiana border region over the upcoming weekend. If this ridge becomes even stronger than expected, that could shift even farther to the west into eastern Texas. Excuse me. Certainly all eyes in Texas and Louisiana should continue to focus on the Gulf of Mexico over the next couple of days, and all people all the way to the Florida Panhandle obviously should continue to monitor this situation. Let's keep moving forward now, and here we go into Friday morning. Still that strong ridge centered over the Rockies and the lower heights than normal as a reflection of the tropical system here by Friday night. And let's finally go into Saturday morning. Now the GFS model eventually moves the system into the central part of Louisiana. I will say this, the European model has a stronger ridge to the north. That tends to push what will become Barry a little bit farther to the west into perhaps the Texas, Louisiana border region, and that is kind of what I favor right now, right in this region right here. Again, we're several days away, but the ridge to the north will be the key player to watch over the next couple of days. Well, let's now take a look at the surface forecast maps from the 6Z GFS model. Now we know a conglomerate of showers and thunderstorms right over the eastern part of the Gulf of Mexico this morning. Let's move forward here. A couple things I want to point out. First of all, in the northeast, we'll have to deal with a strong frontal system late Thursday night. This very well could result in some strong to severe thunderstorm activity in the mid-Atlantic region, in the northeast, especially to the north and west of the I-95 corridor. Here we are now by tomorrow afternoon. Again, there very well could be strong to severe thunderstorms in the northeastern part of the nation, the mid-Atlantic region, again, especially to the north and west of I-95 from late tomorrow into tomorrow night. Notice by tomorrow afternoon, GFS depicts perhaps a tropical depression, maybe even a tropical storm by later tomorrow, and ultimately the GFS pushes that system into the central part of Louisiana. Again, a lot of that will be dictated by how strong the ridge to the north becomes. This is the Saturday afternoon forecast map. Moves slowly into central Louisiana. Strong ridge to the north will slow down that movement. That will lead to the chances of flooding in the Gulf region late this week during the weekend. Again, odds from the European model favor moving a little bit farther to the west, maybe closer to the Texas-Louisiana border region, all because it has a stronger ridge to the north. It certainly could have a direct impact on eastern Texas the way it stands right now. We'll see if that ridge continues to evolve into a stronger and stronger ridge over the next couple of days. So a lot going on, especially on the tropical scene. The weakening El Nino in the central Pacific could mean a more active tropical season going forward here. And of course, we'll closely monitor Barry, what will become Tropical Storm Barry over the next couple of days. It could have a direct impact on the Texas-Louisiana border region this weekend, perhaps as a hurricane category 1 or 2 also. Watch out for strong to severe thunderstorms in the mid-Atlantic, in the northeast U.S. late tomorrow and tomorrow night. That's it for now. For PerspectaWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.